Thank you to all my new subscribers and peace to all my universal family. We got another book review, and this is so very necessary in this year that we living in. The Willie Lynch Letter and the Making of a Slave. Let's kick it.
I be an official, big dog in the yard, voting most likely to murder every birthday I start.
A whole lot of heat. And like I mentioned, this book is so very necessary in this year that we living in. And I got put on to this book as a very young child by my big brother. My big brother is super conscious. And you know, they used to pass around this book in pamphlet form, you know, along with the 120 lessons and the Final Call newspaper and certain books pertaining to knowledge of self way back before the internet in the mid 80s and the early 90s, you know. So let's look at some topics and some key points in this book or in this letter, you know, that I thought was interesting. You know, this book or this letter, you know, is very interesting to me because it talks about a lot of things that's going on in this year that we living in, you know, from buck breaking to making the woman go against the man and look down on the man to making the black woman not trust the black man, and also the psychological trick that they put on the black child to become a mama's boy to go against the black father. You know, one of the primary things that I got out of this book was the economics of slavery and how the mindset and how they treated slavery like a real business. Like people weren't just catching people for no reason. And you know, this letter or this speech that was given was basically telling people how not to mess up your precious commodity, which is a slave, by using brute force and to use psychology to get the most out of your investment, which is a slave, by just using brute force. You know, you had to use psychology, and you also wanted to have this ingrained for generations and generations, you know, to basically make the slaves do what you wanted them to do for your future, for the white man's future or the slave owner's future, you know what I'm saying? But you know, the things that they were using, it was meant not just for that one particular slave that they was, you know, had in bondage at that time, but they wanted it to go on for generations and generations and generations, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, in this year that we living in, you can kind of see that this probably was a real thing, you know what I'm saying? That this letter was real and how demonic the slave owners was. Like I said, I'm gonna make it short and sweet, so let's look at some key topics. In here it says, I'm here to help you solve some of your problems with your slaves. You know, he was talking about y'all just using brute force, you know, y'all not using psychology, and how y'all are messing up y'all commodity, you know, and messing up your investments. You know, it says you are not only losing valuable stock by hanging, you are having uprisings. Slaves are running away, and your crops are sometimes left in the field too long for maximum profit. You suffer occasional fires and your animals are killed. You know, he was saying the way that y'all maintaining them slaves and the way that y'all going about handling them slaves is wrong. Let me show you how to get into the psychology, and let me show you how to get into that DNA. You know what I'm saying? And that's very key. It says, I have outlined a number of differences among the slaves, and I take these differences and make them bigger. I use fear, distrust, and envy for control purposes. Fear, distrust, and envy for control purposes. Now this is very key. It says, don't forget, you must pitch the old black male versus the young black male, and the young black male against the old black male. You know, that's that younger generation, how we like to say, the younger men don't like listening to the OGs. This is what that's talking about. You know, it says, you must use the dark-skinned slaves versus the light-skinned slaves, and the light-skinned slaves versus the dark-skinned slaves. You know, rest in peace to my uncle Ray. My Uncle Ray was a light-skinned brother, man. He passed away on me probably about a year and a half ago. He returned back to the essence. You know, that was one of the head figures of my life. And just having conversations with him, and, you know, I was born and raised in Montgomery, Alabama. And you know, that slave, I did a video and a book review on the Montgomery slave trade. Go and check that video out, and also go check that book out. But my uncle used to say he didn't like being light-skinned, you know, because people would treat him better than some of his brothers and sisters. I can even remember having conversations with older black people, and they would say how bad they would treat the dark-skinned siblings, and you know that the light-skinned siblings would get treated better. That's right here in this book, or in this letter, this Willie Lynch letter. Let's go on. It says you must use the female versus the male, and the male versus the female. You know, and that's key, man. Especially right now, because man, y'all should hear how some of the this generation of females, the younger let's just say the generation of females that's 25 and younger right now. Man, you should hear how they talk about some black males, you know what I'm saying? They treat the black man foul, you know. Certain females I hear in conversations and how they talk about the younger G's and the younger men, you know. Boy, they talk about them so bad, they talk about them like they the ones with a dick, you know what I'm saying? Like they could basically do everything in the world without a man. You know, that's right here in this book. You know, that's trained and that's ingrained. You know, it says, let us make a slave a slave. What do I need? First of all, we need a black nigger man. We need a pregnant nigger woman, and we need her nigger baby boy. Second, I will use the same basic principle that we use in the breaking of a horse, combined with some more sustaining factors. You know what I'm saying? I got a fly in here, man. I don't know what that's about, man. I'll keep this one out. It says, both a wild horse and a wild or natural nigger is dangerous even if captured, for they will have a tendency to seek their customary freedom, and in doing so might kill you in your sleep. Now listen, that's a cold piece. Hence, both the horse and the nigger must be broken. That is, break them from one form of mental life to another. Keep the body and take the mind. In other words, break the will to resist. That's loving your slave master. You know what I'm saying? That's loving them. Break the will to resist. You know what I'm saying? Make them think that this is the natural order of life. You know, like I said, this was meant for generations and generations. It says, a brief discourse in offspring development will shed light on the key to sound economic principles. Pay little attention to the generation of original breaking, but concentrate on future generations. Boy. Therefore, if you break the black female mother, she will break the offspring in its early years of development, and when the offspring is old enough to work, she will deliver it up to you, for her normal female protective tendencies will have been lost in the original breaking process. I told you, man, from way back then, this was supposed to be for generations. Now check this one out. This is a cold piece in regards to breaking the black man. Take the meanest and most restless nigger, strip him of his clothes in front of the remaining male niggers, the female and the nigger infant. Tar and feather him. Tie each leg to a different horse in opposite directions. Set him afire and beat both horses to pull him apart in front of the remaining niggers. The next step is to take a bullwhip and beat the remaining nigger male to the point of death in front of the female and the infant. Don't kill him, but put the fear of God in him, for he can be useful for future breeding. Oh man, that's a cold one, man. That's a cold piece. Now check this one out. This one is called the breaking process of the African woman. If she shows any sign of resistance and submitting completely to your will, do not hesitate to use the bullwhip on her to extract the last bit of bitch out of her. Take care not to kill her, for in doing so, you will spoil good economics. Let's look at that again, and y'all put that in your dome. If she shows any sign of resistance in submitting completely to your will, do not hesitate to use the bull whoop on her to extract the last bit of bitch out of her. Take care not to kill her. In doing so, you will spoil good economics. Now what is that saying to you? And right up under that it says, we reverse nature by burning and pulling one civilized nigga apart and bull whipping the other to the point of death, all in her presence. Let's beat this man in front of his woman. Let's beat a bunch of men, the strong man, in front of the woman. If the man can't fight back, that's why you hear the word bitch ass nigga. You know what I'm saying? You hear that. You know, females can get up under a man. So-called black female can get under a so-called black man's skin by calling him a bitch ass nigga. This is where that's coming from. Let's read on a little bit. It says, for the fear of the young male's life, she will psychologically train him to be mentally weak and dependent, but physically strong. Let me read that again. For fear of the young male's life, she will psychologically train him to be mentally weak and dependent, but physically strong. That's a strong sissy. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what is being bred into the minds of the females so they can train their son to be strong but a bitch in the mind, you know, because if you read earlier, they already did that to the black man, to a husband. Now look right up under that, it says, what have you got? You've got the nigga woman out front and the man behind is scared. This is a perfect situation for sound sleep economics. You've got the nigga woman out front and the man behind is scared. This is a perfect situation for sound sleep economics. This is also pertaining to the black child. By the time the nigger boy reaches the age of 16, he is soundly broken in and ready for life, sound and efficient work and the reproduction of a unit of a good labor force. You know, they talk about why they did this over and over again. It says, they say the mind has a strong drive to correct and recorrect itself over a period of time. So we need to keep doing this. You know, this needs to be a trend and a phenomenon that goes on and on and on and on. You know, they also talk about crossbreeding. Crossbreeding, nigger, means taking as many drops of good white blood and putting them into as many nigger women as possible, varying the drops by various tones that you want, then letting them breed with each other until circles of colors appear as you desire. What type of shit is that? What this means is put the niggers and the horse in the breeding pot, mix some asses and some good white blood, and what do you get? You got a multiplicity of colors of ass backward, unusual niggers running, tied to backward ass, long-headed mules, the productive of itself and the other sterile. Oh man, you know, that was pretty much the gist of the Willie Lynch Letter. You know, like I said, it's very necessary in this year that we living in with all the so-called awakening and the black consciousness that's going on with the entertainers and all the passing around of knowledge on social media right now. But you know, in the back of this, at the end of the letter, you know, it gives basically a thank you letter, you know, to black folks from white folks. You know what I'm saying? It says, thank you for continuing to bring 95% of what you earn to our businesses. Thank you for buying our Tommy Hilfiger and Nikes and all other brands that you so adore. You know what I'm saying? Super rich athletes, entertainers, intellectuals, and business persons, both legal and illegal, exchange most of their money for our cars, our jewelry, homes, and clothing. What a financial windfall they have provided for us. You know, that's a thank you letter for the white man, from the white man. You know what I'm saying? It says, you just keep doing business with us. It's safer that way. Besides everything you need, we make anyway, even the kente cloth. You just continue to dance, sing, and distrust and hate one another. That's a thank you letter from, you know what I'm saying, from the pink people. One of the pink people is something else. It's the bearded Heru. Yo, go check them other videos out. Those some cold pieces. Come on and like and subscribe so you can vibe with your guy. Also, go check out that book review playlist. I got many more to come for some knowledge of self and for you to put some fat on your head. It's the bearded Heru, and everything is real. Peace.
I been official, big dog in the yard.